the honorable leaders, Secretary General of the Pacific Islands Forum, heads of CROP, regional and international agencies, representatives of our traditional business, civil society, and faith-based organizations, excellencies, and distinguished delegates, to the people and the youth and children of the Blue Pacific continent. Sambula Vinaka, and a very good afternoon to you all. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, this is a very special occasion indeed. For those of us gathered here in person, indeed, for all our peoples and communities of our great Blue Pacific continent. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, the 2020 strategy is about us, our peoples, our planet, our place, and our prosperity. In essence, it is about who we are. As we have seen from the wonderful presentation today, this strategy is about our past. It is about our present, and it is certainly about our future. It is about how we work together as communities, as countries, and as one Blue Pacific continent. The 2050 strategy is about what we share in common, our challenges, our opportunities, and what we need to do together. This is why the 2050 strategy focuses on our people. It is our people who have sent us here to deliberate on their behalf, and we owe them a strategic response to their greatest challenges, especially our youth, our children and our grandchildren, who will inherit this strategy and our collective ambition. Indeed, they are our greatest shared asset and our greatest resource. It is also why the strategy focuses on our ocean and our shared natural and environmental resources as a critical part of the strategy within the 2050 strategy. Because these are precious to us as custodians of the Blue Pacific continent. The shared bounty of our ocean and its resources are key to ensuring we retain our strategic autonomy and our livelihoods for current and future generations. Ladies and gentlemen, we are all familiar with the challenges that we face as a region. These include a runaway climate crisis, socio-economic development challenges, slow economic growth, and geopolitical competition. We also know that we cannot address these challenges on our own. We must work together. The 2050 strategy will serve as our guide for the decades to come, setting out our long-term vision, key values to guide us, and key thematic areas and strategic pathways that will pave our shared trajectory as a region. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, the success of the 2050 strategy depends on two key factors. The first is leadership. If the 2050 strategy is to be effective, it must be led and driven by our leaders. We have the sacred duty to ensure that our leadership is decisive, inclusive, fair, and impactful. We must lead by example. The quality of our dialogue, our debate, and the direction that we offer will determine the success of the strategy and the direction of Pacific regionalism more broadly. The second is our people. Our people, young and old, must own this strategy. They must commit to Pacific regionalism. In doing so, they will see that we are more than the sum of our parts. They must see that while we are citizens of our own countries and territories, the tide of history have determined that we are one people. We are all part of this great Blue Pacific continent. We must ensure that the 2050 strategy is known and understood by all our people. In this regard, I look forward to supporting my fellow leaders to see how best we can socialize the strategy across the Blue Pacific continent. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, I look forward to ensuring that the 2050 strategy is translated into the languages of our member countries. And I look forward to ensuring that member countries are able to have their own national launches of the 2050 strategy, ensuring it is well aligned to their own national frameworks. I also acknowledge that we cannot implement this strategy alone. We must also ensure that our dialogue and development partners, regional agencies, and international agencies understand and align their development plans to the strategy and engage with us on this basis. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to acknowledge our ministers, our senior officials, regional agencies, our civil society and private sector, and our youth who have worked tirelessly to develop this strategy. On behalf of my fellow leaders, we say Vinagam for this excellent product. While the clouds on the horizon of the future may sometimes appear dark, I am confident that in the 2050 strategy, we have our North Star, whose light brings us all together, and to ensure we work together as a Blue Pacific continent as we voyage towards our destination, towards a region of peace, harmony, security, and prosperity for ourselves and the generations to come. With those words, Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, it is indeed my pleasure to officially launch the 2050 strategy for the Blue Pacific continent. Vinaka, and God bless you all.